We are live. Welcome back to the Fanspeak Network and the very first Friends of Best Ball episode of the 2024 draft season. And I am joined by two very special guests that I will introduce in 1 minute. That's right. Best Ball season is here. That means Friends of Best Ball is going to be back every Friday here on the Fanspeak Network. So thank you for joining us on this Friday. Be sure to mark your calendars for every Friday. So like and subscribe. And now it's time for me to introduce my Friends of Best Ball. And this is really special this week because not just are they my Friends of Best Ball, they're going to be the two new faces that you will see here on the Fanspeak Network a lot this summer. So I've got Raub and Justin Bruni, and these two guys, I've been, interacting with them on Twitter for a while now about best ball, but I love that they are obsessed with best ball just as much as me. And they are going to provide awesome content to Fanspeak Network every single week. They're going to be doing live drafts together. They're going to be doing some strategy shows, some shorts. You'll see them a ton. And so it's time to get to know both of them since you're going to be seeing their faces a lot. So I'm very excited. Andrew, Justin, welcome. I'm going to go to each of you and kind of get to know your best ball style. Is that okay? I feel like this is like a dating show.
Sounds good.
Anyways, so I'm not the Bachelorette or anything like that, and I know you guys are. So, but anyways, this is, and I'm the host, and I felt like I was like introduced, like asking like dating questions or something, but no, this is
best ball, probably a first date topic.
Yeah, isn't best ball the first date topic, a perfect first date topic? I think so. I mean, why not? So if it was a first date topic, I would say to both of you, I'm going to ask, what is your favorite best ball strategy style to draft? Like zero RB, hero RB, do you do the late round quarterback? Do you do the late round tight end? I mean, I know zero RB is super popular. Andrew, I'll go to you first. What's your favorite best ball draft style?
I mean, because you need to start 3 wide receivers, I prefer zero RB. But I do like hero RB as well. Those are probably my 2 favorites. I mean, and you know me, I'm a 2 QB kind of guy. So let's throw that in there.
Okay, that's our fun little debate because I'm a 3 QB girl. So, okay, Justin, same question.
Yeah, absolutely. I like to also go zero RB, as Andrew pointed out, needing 3 wide receiver starters every week. You just want to prioritize that position a little bit more. But I have had some good experiences stacking up with 4 RBs. I think that I've had some pretty good success going that route. A lot of people like to get 5 or 6. So I like to mix in some 4 RB builds as well. My second highest scoring team last year out of 150 teams did have 4 running backs. So I was able to nail that one. But also really, really love late tight end. I'm not afraid to draft 3 or 4 tight ends and really just soak up all that value in the last 3 or 4 rounds. Trey McBride, a big guy for me last year that really brought it home, was able to consistently get him as an 18th, 17th round pick. So I really do like backing it up with 3 late round dart throws at tight end.
Yeah, that's a big one for me. I love the late round tight end, and it's all about doing it right. Whether you're doing zero RB or hero RB or the hyper fragile, type running back, it's like, you're not going to draft 4 running backs and draft them, mid to late. Right. So, you're not going to, if you're going to do the late round tight end, you're obviously, like you said, going to maybe draft at least 3, maybe you'll even throw 4 in there. So it's all about doing it the right way. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I've had some scenarios where I'm looking at my first 2 tight ends and I go, we need more here. Like, we're gonna need a little help. So I'm not afraid to double dip there and go up to 4 potentially, but obviously I'm gonna have to lose a spot elsewhere. I did have a couple of 1 QB builds. I'm probably not gonna do that again. You just kind of live and learn with the burn.
Yeah, you do live and learn. That's the best part about basketball. And that's the other thing is like these different builds in my next question, or different strategies. And then my next question, types of build. Like there's no one way to skin a cat in basketball. There's no one way to like meet in the finals, like you can have these different strategies. And again, if you're doing them the right way, we can all get there in different ways and kind of lean into what we feel most comfortable with. I think, again, as long as you're doing it correctly. So that's my next question is, what's your favorite build structure? Mine is 3-5-7-3 in Underdog. Andrew, what's yours?
Oh man, I'm a balanced guy. I like 2-6-8-2, 2-5-8-3, something of that nature. I like to stay balanced. I mean, you need points from every single position, so I'm a balanced guy.
Okay. I like it. Justin, same question. Again, I feel like that makes it really sound like a dating show. Justin, same question.
Wish I had a rose. I actually have one at my work desk. I don't have one here. It's a fake one, but 2-5-8-3 probably is the most consistent. I'm not really on one team or the other as far as like 2 QB, 3 QB. I really just let it come to me. I have 2 pretty good quarterbacks I feel like I can trust. I'll just sit at that. But a lot of folks, like including myself, if you have, if your starting QB is coming out of like round 10 or later, your first quarterback off the board, you're probably grabbing 2 or 3 for sure.
Right. Okay, this is a fun one. Who was your favorite player that you drafted last year? I'll go to you first this time, Justin. Who was your favorite player any round? Could be a high capital guy, could have been a last round guy. Who's the favorite player you drafted last year?
If I was kind of breaking it down
and had high exposure too. Sorry, I should clarify that.
Yeah, that's probably the most relevant for sure is right. Who I had the most. And I drafted a ton of Tyreek Hill at the top of the board, a ton of Devin Singletary in the middle, and a lot in the back end.
Okay.
So looking at
each part of the draft.
3, yeah, exactly. Yeah, each kind of stage of the draft there. Trey McBride was just super undervalued all summer long. Not everyone, but a lot of people were banging the Zach Ertz drum to Arizona. They traded for him. He's healthy now, and I just didn't buy it. You guys are close to this situation this year in Washington now. So I know we'll definitely get into that conversation about who could potentially be the next Trey McBride behind Zach Ertz. Devin Singletary, just always loved the talent. He was amazing in Buffalo, very undervalued and underappreciated, I felt like. And I love Dameon Pierce, still love him coming into this year, but just felt like there was a lot of opportunity there with their head coaching change, and kind of like a change in, approach and culture and philosophy there. So I felt like they were going to run the ball a lot. And Tyreek Hill is just someone that I really, really love at the top of the board in a prolific offense with the Miami Dolphins. You've seen what he's done there the past 2 years. Obviously last year I was able to hit on it, but there were a lot of times where I was prioritizing him over like Jamar Chase or the other top other receivers after Justin Jefferson. I certainly got a lot of Justin Jefferson last year too, because for some reason, Andrew can attest to this, I just kept getting 101s. I don't know what it was, but I kept getting 101s, and
Lucky
I kept taking JJ.
Yeah.
And there was a few times I did take my number 1 pick with Tyreek Hill, because I did have that confidence in him, just because I knew how prolific that offense is.
Oh, absolutely. Andrew, same question to you. And I like the kind of like early, mid, late, or early, late, and high exposure to. Who were your guys?
Yeah. So, I mean, early, I kind of just opened it up and let it fall to me, because I, unlike Justin, did not get a lot of 101. I was just all over the board, a lot of like 6 through 12. So I did, end up taking a lot of AJ Brown. I really like AJ Brown, but I was lucky enough to know about Puka Nacua before, he was a cool topic to talk about. Right. Shout out Jacob Gibbs on Twitter. He kind of put out some rookie stats, and Puka Nacua kept being towards the top. So I did a little research and ended up falling in love with Puka Nacua. So luckily I had a plethora of Puka Nacua. But I was a big guy on Sam Laporta. He wasn't going super early. You could get him a little later in the drafts. He was probably one of my most exposed tight ends. And then I hate to tout an injury, but Jerome Ford was my most exposed running back. And it sucked the way that it happened for him. But obviously he became the guy, and he was on the team that I had in the Best Ball Mania finals last year. So shout out Jerome Ford. It was really nice riding that roller coaster.
Well, these contingency guys, they do sometimes fall into these elite roles. So, I get it. And I have to ask, Andrew, what percent of Sam Laporta did you have? I want to see who was higher, you or me.
Ooh,
he was my most exposed.
I don't exactly remember, but I know it was more than 20. It was between 25 and 35%. I think it was like 29 or 30%. I did have a lot of him, and I didn't max last year. I did 108 entries. So, I mean, you can figure out the math there, but yeah, really love Sam Laporta.
Yeah, I was
You
50. I was 50%. It was a little aggressive, but it was a late round guy. So, but I even when he got steamed, I kept following him up there. So that was my biggest, but to the other side of that, I did not get on the Puka train really as much as I should. And big regrets, huge on that one.
Yeah,
So,
unfortunately, we're never going to see another Puka Nakua. I see that question asked on streams and on Twitter, like,
mhm.
who's the next Puka? Like, forget about it. You ain't finding a Puka again.
In the
Like,
last
that was
round or
absurd.
undrafted. Yeah. Yeah. That was just insane. And I just kicked myself. I'm actually going to put out a couple articles in the next day or two about, things that I love that I did. Want to do more of that. Things that I don't love that I did. Want to do less of that or want to watch that. And one is, really paying attention to those, camp reports in a way with context. Because some of the camp reports from the social media team of teams are, can be a little bit noisy. Some of the camp reports that are coming from, the beat writers and over, if the drum beat is like consistent, you got to buy in. And I did not enough with Puka. And I'm very frustrated at myself and hope I can learn a productive lesson from that. Okay. Well, we'll wind up with who is your favorite sleeper this year? Justin, I'll go to you first on this one.
Gonna go with former Bear, Darnell Mooney.
Ooh.
Big Bears fan.
That's my next
the
question.
situation. Yeah, like the situation there in Atlanta. Atlanta were just absolute dum-dums and passed up on Rome Odunze, making Darnell Mooney a lottery ticket winner because that would have just buried him in that depth chart when you have a top guy in Drake London, a top 5 potential running back in Bijan, potential top 3 or 5 tight end in Kyle Pitts. I just knocked on wood. I mean, so he would have been buried, if you add in like a stud rookie wide receiver that can, demand a high percentage of the targets. So I love that opportunity for him. The offense is going to pass the ball a ton. You have Kirk Cousins coming in, and that's what you brought him in for, right? Is, a lot of passing, a shift of focus there, kind of similar to what we saw of change of the guard from Houston a couple years ago to this year. I think that we're going to see a much more higher scoring Atlanta Falcons offense. So excited what Darnell Mooney can do there. He's a shifty wide receiver, can run every route. If you go back to, his rookie season when he was, burning top corners in the league, but didn't have a quarterback that could hit the side of a barn. He's working with a little bit of an upgrade this year with Kirk Cousins, who's a pass, first focus type of quarterback. So very excited about what he can bring this year.
Okay, I like it. Andrew, who's your sleeper for at this point?
Man, so one guy I really like drafting because he goes like around like 125 is actually Gus Edwards. I know he's not technically a sleeper, but move teams,
I like that.
has an offensive coordinator that that is used to him, and I feel like he's going to be utilized a lot. I mean, we saw what Harbaugh did in Michigan. In Michigan, he likes to run the ball, and from what they told us, through the draft, is it looks like they're probably going to want to run the ball again. And so I like Gus Bus a whole lot. But wide receiver, Jameson Williams. I mean, the Lions did nothing to address their wide receiver. I mean, they let go of Reynolds as well. I think J-Mo is going to see the field 90 to 95% of the time, right? And he's the number 2 there. I mean, obviously Amon-Ra, shout out the Sun God. He's going to get his, and so is Laporta, and they're going to run the ball. But Jameson Williams for best ball is a super nice guy to get because you don't have to start him every week, right? You don't have to worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best thing about best ball. So I love Jameson Williams. And if I correct me if I'm wrong, I think he's going like roughly right around ADP 100.
Right. Yeah. I thought it was right around.
I think
100.
after that, actually, but yeah.
Yeah, I like that because such an explosive player, like you said, perfect for best ball. So I like that. 2 more fun questions, and I swear we're going to get into a live BBM draft together. And then if anybody wants to join us, please do. First of all, we've got Spread in the chat. Spread is also part of the Fanspeak team. So that's what's going to be fun this year is we are going to have at least 4 live drafts every week. We're going to have one with Spread and Tyler. This week it's going to be Mondays, on Monday, usually it's going to be on Tuesdays. They're going to cover DraftKings. Then Steve and I will likely be doing a kind of Wednesday lunchtime. These guys, and then the rest of them are going to be underdog drafts. So Steve and I will do a Wednesday lunchtime. These guys are going to do a Thursday night draft. And then I'll be doing a Friday Friends of Best Ball, and kind of whenever my friends are available to draft with me. So it'll be nice to have a fairly consistent live draft schedule. And then, like I said, these guys are going to be doing all sorts of strategy shows and shorts and just valuable information. And so will Steve and I too. So tons of best ball content coming your way. So again, be sure to like and subscribe. And we really appreciate you joining us on this Friday evening. So 2 more fun questions. Justin, you answered it already. Who's your team? So people will know if there's any leans. Bears. So since you already gave it to us, give me a record prediction for the Bears this year with a very, very nice additions in the draft of Caleb Williams and Roma Dunes.
10-7.
Okay, I like it. So you do. I mean, in the NFC,
I think that's modest. I'm just, I'm trying to keep my cool.
Okay, keep it cool.
Try not to get too excited.
So are you thinking wild card then at 10-7?
Oh, got to be. It's division or bust. I mean, yeah, division, make the playoffs, wild card, whatever. That's the type of roster we have right now. We had a great defense last year, couldn't stay consistent enough on offense. We would get into situations where we could score points, but then just not maintain it. The offense wasn't built to win shootouts, and the offense just wasn't putting the defense into good positions. So, number 1 overall pick, loaded up at wide receiver and running back and tight end. Like, if not now, then win.
I love it. And I'm very jealous of your quarterback because I know the answer to Andrew's question because it's my favorite team as well. Andrew, tell the people who your favorite team is. And let me ask, your question is, how do you feel about Jaden Daniels? Because you probably know how I feel as well.
Yeah, so obviously I'm a Washington fan. This year the new hashtag Raise Hail. Love that. I've obviously everyone can see behind me. Hail to the Commanders. Come on now, you got the Buy Dan shirt.
I love
Dan.
I saw it on your profile, and I was like, Raise Hail, and then I was like, oh yeah, HTTC, and I was like, wait,
yeah, man,
that's their thing. Like that's official. I thought you maybe made that up.
No, I wish.
That's an Andrew thing. Yeah.
I mean, I think we're gonna go roughly 9 and 8. Slide into a wild card slot, and Jaden Daniels. I don't love him for the team, to be fully honest with you. I just don't love his frame and his build. He kind of seems like a little bit of a better RG3 passer, right? And we saw what RG3 was. The rookie year was electric.
Electric.
I mean, I was at the game where he ran that the 82-yard touchdown. I was there in that end zone, so it was electric to see. Unfortunately, we saw what happens when he take hits, right? His body was like Gumby. Every time he took a hit, his leg was flying in the air, and it was just absurd. I unfortunately feel like Jaden Daniels is going to suffer the same in the NFL. I mean, you can go on and look at the clips of him just getting moshed in college, right? Like
there's all these cut ups to different music, like that, but it's sad, but it's true. Yeah, it's not great. And
so we'll see. I mean, if he can stay healthy, I think he's going to fit well with the system. I worry that he's not going to get down quick enough and take some hits. I mean, I don't like to shout out Russell Wilson at all, but he at least knows how to get down and slide. Jaden Daniels needs to watch some clips of Russell Wilson getting down when he needs to, and really put that to the repertoire. So we will see. I have to, as a fan, be excited about it for best ball and fantasy purposes. I'm excited because he does what everyone loves in a quarterback, and that's run the ball. But we will see how long he stays healthy.
Yes, that's exactly where I stand on that too. Very, very nervous about that, about an RG3 part 2, but we will see. Time will tell. The thing is, we're never going to know about these rookies for, 2, 3, 4 years. So we will see. Time will tell. I have to ask one more fun question because I love Justin's background. I have been obsessed since the football season ended. I am obsessively watching Seinfeld on repeat. Friends and Seinfeld are like my 2 go-tos.
Right.
So I'm obsessively watching Seinfeld. I very much have like Elaine vibes. Like I like can never hold my feelings back. Like I have to let it out, I hate it when she's in the English Patient one. That's like my favorite Elaine gif. So like I use like Elaine gifs all the time because I feel like she's my spirit animal. So I have to ask, if you obviously love Seinfeld, if it's your background, what's your favorite Seinfeld gif? I just did the I hate it is my favorite.
The gif?
What's your favorite Seinfeld gif? Yeah,
it would be and because I always hear the line in my head, like I can hear it when I see like the words, just the mouthing of it. When Jerry is on the phone, or he answers the phone and says, "Who is this?"
Yeah, I like that.
Or that, or whenever George is playing his own recording, and it's the song.
Oh,
who could it be?
Believe it or not. Yes. Okay. Okay.
Believe
I like it
or not.
So do you have a favorite episode? Do you have a favorite, like?
I don't know the title of the episode, but the one where Kramer is golfing on the beach, and he hits
Just the marine
golf ball.
biologist one.
Yeah, the marine
Mhm.
biologist, exactly. That I would have said as much, but yeah, George is on a date, and he's told a woman that he's an architect because, like, you know,
He loves
George,
pretending to be an architect. Yeah. Mhm.
Exactly. And then or no, that wasn't right. That he was pretending to be a marine biologist. He just said
He wanted to be an architect.
Yeah.
He always wants to be an architect. Yeah.
And so him and his date are walking on the beach, and somehow a whale comes to shore or something like that. They need a marine biologist.
Is anybody a marine biologist? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then George pulls out a golf ball from its blowhole
that Kramer shot in it, because they all come full circle. So, okay, so I have to go to you, Andrew. Are you a Seinfeld guy? And if so, what's your favorite episode?
Oh man, you guys are gonna hate me, but I'm not, like, I've watched it, but not like that. That was not my era. Yeah, so I'm not much of a
Good Lord,
Seinfeld
Andrew,
guy.
how old are you?
What do you mean not your era?
How
I'm
old are you?
33. I'm 33.
Okay.
I was watching. I was watching.
You're
other
younger than
stuff.
me for sure, but
Well, like the Fox lineup when you got home from school, it transitioned from like superhero cartoons to, like, you know, the Cosby Show and the Simpsons and Seinfeld, and I'm probably forgetting something else in there. Wheel of Fortune.
Okay.
This might surprise you, but I was a kid that liked to touch grass. I was outside.
Oh,
so
God, get the hell out of here!
When I got home, I went
Everybody's
outside.
got to go home.
Okay, so if not Seinfeld, what's your favorite sitcom? What would you use a sitcom gif of?
Oh man, so I like a lot. I love The Office. That's probably one of my go-tos. Also love Friends. It's those two for sure. I also like Parks and Rec a whole lot. I love
Office.
Ron as well. I'll use a lot of those gifs. So
if you do shows with Steve, Ron Swanson is Steve's favorite TV character of all time. So.
My wife says I am Ron Swanson.
There you go.
I'm the guy that if I don't like you and I'm talking to you, I'll say your name incorrectly just so you know that I don't like you. I'm a nice guy on the outside, but deep down inside, I don't want to meet new people.
Okay, I like the Ron. So just like I have Elaine vibes, you have some like Ron Swanson vibes, a little Ron Swanson spirit animal.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm pulling over the Underdog lobby here, and we are going to get serious. We are going to get in a Underdog BBM draft here. Any final thoughts before we jump in our first draft? We'll obviously be talking things through. I wanted to warn everybody, I am holding my mic with my hand, so if I get cramped up or I drop it, just my mic stand broke 10 minutes before the show. So
do you want me to check out the draft room before we get in here so that you're not trying to draft two on stream here if we get stuck?
Yeah, if you don't mind, that's great.
No, I don't mind. Hold on, let me pop in one and see what it looks like here.
Very smart, Andrew.
I try. So sometimes I have good ideas every now and again. It is taking a while, so I'm assuming that's probably going to be either full. Yeah, so there's only one more to start. I'm going to try to pop out of this real quick if I can.
Okay.
Yeah, give it like 30 seconds to a minute.
Yeah, and then we can jump in.
So I popped out. So now there's going to be two more left. So Megan, let us ask you. So how long have you been doing fantasy / best ball?
Well, I've really only done the fantasy. I just did like fun, friends and family leagues. And I've done that for, 15 years or something like that. A long time, definitely a long time. But I've done DFS for right when it really got popular in 2013. So been doing that for this will be like probably 12th year or something like that in DFS. And then that just led into best ball like 3 years ago. And it was really light the first year. Then 2022, when I went to the finals, I had more teams and then really kind of went all in and had like 200 total teams across 3 sites last year. And then I'm going to be even more all in this year. So, but I'm going to be the most all in on Underdog. So it's gone up and up every year. So I would say just dabble the first year, a little more in 22, a lot in 23, and it'll be obsessively a lot in here in 24. So this will be my 4th year of best ball.
Love it.
Nice.
Love it.
There's 6 more to start now if you guys want to try to hop in.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Then I'll count to 3, 2, 1.
I'm in.
Yep.
I'm in.
So 5 more. Oh boy.
No, we should be good.
It said it can't say. It can't find my location.
No.
Oh Lord. Hold on. Yeah, pop out.
How the heck do I get out from the PC? Oh no. Leave draft. There's a big red thing that says leave draft.
There's going to be a thing that says leave draft.
Okay.
Right.
What is going on with my? I mean, if you guys just want to do it and I can talk through.
No, it's all right.
You should be able to do it. Well, just go to your location settings for your PC. because that's what popped up was your location settings, I think.
Is it the third party's blocked? You're going to learn really
Do you
quick.
have pop-ups blocked or anything? Because sometimes that'll do it too.
Okay, let's try that. I mean,
Yeah,
it works.
take your time.
Literally third party cookies allowed. I mean, it's literally worked every other time I've done a live show.
So we'll just let you peek your head in because we can see your balance. You might be able to lose an auto draft there, or you can draft 2 at
We
once.
can see your balance. It's funny. I got a buddy that watches a bunch of live streams, and he's always like, "Oh, look how much money they have." I'm like, dude, you would notice that.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead and try to bump it. Yeah,
I'm going to jump in now and see if it works.
Yeah,
okay, it's letting me in, and but it's 2 people. If you can
get
in.
out. No, get out. Go to the right. There you go. See, I had the same problem.
Okay,
all right. But we're good. That's all right. This is what this is
watching.
for.
I apologize for the people watching on playback. Go ahead and fast forward a couple seconds, 30, 60 seconds.
This is what the first live draft of the year is all about. Working out some of the
working
kinks.
Out the kinks. Working out the kinks. Exactly. I
So
can't believe that. I mean, I can't tell you.
We should be good to get in now. I'm pretty sure.
All right, I'm gonna. You want me to get in now and peek?
Yeah, we can. We can see you. Yeah,
I'm gonna peek in here real quick. So let's see. Let's see. 5 more to start. So yep, you 2 are good.
Okay, go.
3 more, 2 more. Draft starting.
Okay, we're in. Woo! We did it.
Did you say draft starting? I hope we did it.
Yeah.
See you. All right.
Okay, I'm 4.
Oh, there we go. Fantasy
Andrew's
Dog
5 and Justin 6. 4,
right.
5, 6. Oh boy.
Maybe one night of the week I won't get sniped, or maybe I will. I don't know.
It's funny. I'm pretty sure we're going to be cross streaming with Fantasy Dog Pound. I saw that he was doing it at 9:30.
Oh really? Oh nice.
Yeah, he's also.
I just saw he's pick one.
Yeah, somebody I follow on YouTube. So that's funny.
It's funny. That's always the first thing I do is to see who I recognize name wise, and
because it's the streets. You got to know who you're walking the streets with.
I will tell you guys, I did not get out of that last one, so I'm currently going to be double drafting.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
It happens. It happens.
Exactly.
It does.
Exactly. You'll have to tell us. Okay. Well, you said road to 150. You'll have to label the double draft here on your first live Fanspeak show. Okay, so it is officially starting. Fantasy Dog Pound is up, and
let's get some CeeDee Lamb Dog Pound.
Yes, so I went onto his stream, and he is currently streaming, and that is him. So we are cross streaming right now with other people.
All right.
All right. Okay, we can get some feedback from others on our draft.
What a boomer pick. CMC first overall. Come on.
Hey, I have to warn you guys, I'm a queuer, so you're gonna know exactly what I'm doing. Damn. And I'm taking Justin's former favorite player of last year.
I just told you how much. I'm just kidding. Let's take another shot. I will come back before you guys, so I can say as much that I'm going to try to do Raub in London. He probably won't fall to me. I've been looking at some of those top stacks. I just posted those on Twitter, my top 5 stacks for round 1 and 2 consecutive picks.
Oh, okay.
And I've yet to land Robinson in London, so I'm going to try it, but probably won't get it.
I like that. And that's a good time for me to say these guys post a lot of good things on Twitter. So actually, so that you can see them very well, check out their Twitter handle. It's there at Raub23 at bestball Bruni. Check those out and be sure to follow these guys on Twitter. All right. No, I like the stacks to kind of target early. That makes sense. You got to be thinking ahead.
You're getting the top value stacked up. That's what I'm considering. Another one like in the first couple of rounds I really love is Jonathan Taylor and Michael Pittman.
Yeah.
Very doable unless you're like me and you just constantly get sniped.
Right.
But very doable to get in Anthony Richardson too. Probably, I don't know, rounds 5 or 6.
Yeah. I think that's what he's going around round 5, I thought, because I just missed him on one of my drafts the other day. I was out on him last year. I'm kind of a rookie QB. I wouldn't say rookie QB hater, but I am more skeptical about rookie QBs. One thing you learn about me is I can be very cynical and skeptical sometimes, and sometimes I think that's a good thing for best ball in some ways. But no, we did a whole data big like 4-part series on rookie QBs like being really successful in fantasy is actually a big outlier. And then CJ Stroud went out and proved us wrong. So, and it was really in context to Anthony Richardson last year. And then, he was set to break fantasy and, obviously his style of play, kind of like we talked about Jaden Daniels, don't know if you're going to get 17 games there, but unfortunately for him, he didn't get many. But I am in on him this year, but definitely going to be a part of those 3 quarterback builds. So, okay. So Justin, you were able to accomplish it. You got Bijan and Drake London, and Andrew is on the clock. So what are you thinking here, Andrew? And then I'm going to go ahead.
I mean, I love the Houston guys here, Collins and Diggs. Olave is somebody I like just because of how many opportunities he's going to get. I'll probably take Olave. I would take Collins if Diggs wasn't there, but I think they're going to split opportunities more than people think that they're going to.
Okay.
Cannibalize.
Yeah. I mean, I might do the same thing that Justin just did. I've done it once before where I just try to get access to the team stack early. And so I'm going to go ahead, and I'm a little nervous about the fact that they drafted Wright. And so have another speed guy in drafting Devon Chain in the second round. But, I like kind of getting that Dolphins access early. So.
Love it. He and Tyreek were my 3rd ranked. So I had Bijan and London up top. Saquon and AJ. I mean, I think that's a good affordable stack. Picks 10 to 12 and then 13 to 14. So if you can get them in that back end window, I'd like that. Then Tyreek Hill and Achane, and then really any combination of CMC with Debo or Ayuk. I had a draft last night where Debo went 7th overall, and I was like, what in the world?
Oh, I saw the tweet that you posted about like a Wild Streets one where like Andrew or Josh Allen went like 2nd or 3rd, right?
3rd. Yeah. And that guy took 4 straight quarterbacks. I was like, this guy's trying to break this draft. You're killing me.
Right.
You're killing me. And then Andrew, you'd love the Puka and Kyrene, but I know you think Puka a little too expensive for your taste now.
Both those guys are right now. I mean, I love Puka, but I mean, I really wish he was like middle of the second, not end of the first. And Kyren, I mean, I don't know. I think that Blake Corum's going to take more work than people realize.
You really do?
I do. I mean, he was awesome around the goal line in college. I think that, I mean, so was Kyren as well. I'm interested, this is a camp battle I'm going to watch heavily. I'm not necessarily think it's going to be a battle per se, but I do think that, that they're going to eat into each other's work. So I'd rather just wait and take Corum later.
We're going pretty wide receiver heavy right here.
Oh yeah.
We just went, I think 8 in a row.
Yeah. Well, I almost did a dual hero running back build and did a chain and is it A-Chan or A-Chain? I should get it. A-Chan. I should, after a year, I should try to get it right.
There's plenty of people that are not doing it. It's all good.
So
do you. No one else is worried about it.
So I was going to take Josh Jacobs, who just went to Justin. But I keep missing on Pittman so far, and I wanted to get some Michael Pittman access. So. I mean, I know it's early to worry about, exposure, but I just, he's been one where I keep kind of missing him and
super reliable, just like sure hands, great situation.
Yep.
I like the additions, last year and Downs this year and Adonai Mitchell, but this offense just still feels like it's going to run a lot. And I think that just improves his position over the other pass catchers immensely. So, I've been scooping him up every attempt that I can in the 3rd round. Yeah. He's my most exposed player so far. But again,
well, good to hear.
7.
I like it. And
7.
I mean, he just was, just getting so many targets last year out of the RPOs and everything. So yeah, I love it.
So I want to ask you too. Do you guys ever do slow drafts?
Last year, not many at all. This year, I think because I want to get more volume down this year, I think I will this year. I did some for big board. I don't love it. I like fast drafts more, to answer your question.
So do I. I'll do a few, especially if I know I'm going on vacation somewhere that you can't start a draft in. Then I'll pop some off. And I just did one. a couple days ago, and like we're 3 picks in. Like it is taking so incredibly long.
No,
I don't know
it's
how people have
frustrating, yeah.
patience for this.
I love the utility of it when you're coming down the stretch and you're sickos like us and you're trying to get to 150. I think it's a great utility for drafters if you're really under the gun and you're really trying to get, every little bit of extra second of the offseason available to you. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I just don't see the benefit of it. You're just giving everyone around you the opportunity to collect more information at all times and to kind of leverage a certain news situation on any given pick. And it's like, I just don't understand why you want to do a ton of those before September. I mean, like maybe the first week of September, like literally riding up to the week 1 kickoff.
Block, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Justin's on the clock now. I'm going to go over to kind of see what I've got. Oh, that's another one I keep getting sniped on is Cup. So nice pick there and at the end of the 4th round there. And now Andrew's on the board.
Yeah, I really was hoping Lamar Jackson would have followed me. That was the ideal pick here for me. I like Flowers and Dell. I have Diggs. I could take Stroud. You know what? I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to take Stroud.
I really wanted to take Derrick Henry with my last pick, but I just knew that Lamar wasn't going to be there, so that was why I held off. And I'll try to get Jordan Love with Josh Jacobs later.
Have you been? I haven't taken much of Tank Dell yet. I've just been taking the alpha. Have you guys taken much Tank Dell?
I think he's going to fall.
Really?
Okay. He did get shot, but it was a flesh wound. So he's going to be.
Listen, man,
fine.
not everybody's Brian Robinson Jr.
That's
okay,
true.
like,
I still took him, but to your point, Andrew, this time of year you do want to be so careful. And I know you talked about on a show you were recently a guest on, the guys that you kind of want to make sure you're grabbing either add value or ahead of ADP are guys that are going to keep flying up the board. The guys that you want to wait on are guys that are going to fall. So it was just a range where I didn't love and anything.
So I'm kind of surprised you didn't take like Zay Flowers. I feel like they're probably going to see roughly the same amount of targets, maybe Flowers, a little bit more because he's the one there in a high powered offense. Now, granted, that offense does run the ball a lot. So I see that against him, but if I would have guessed, I thought that you were going to take Zay Flowers, honestly.
I was thinking about that. I tend to lean into kind of what you just said is like, is the offense more pass volume or run volume, if it's a high powered offense. And so, I think I'm just kind of obsessed with that Houston offense right now, and mainly the pass offense. As you have said, I know, Andrew, I've taken CJ Stroud, in the drafts I've done thus far. Obviously I'm tampering my drafts so far, but I've taken CJ Stroud a good bit. And so I'm going to go ahead and draft Anthony Richardson here. It's a couple picks before ADP, but I want to make sure I get that stack. So I grabbed him. Let me roll over the board. As I talked about, Andrew, I know you got Diggs and then you got Stroud. So I know you've been talking about a lot of Stroud stacks, and I'm right there with you. Love this, getting the access to the Stroud stacks.
Yeah, I mean, he's hard to quit. I mean, with what they could potentially be this year, it's hard for me to not want to draft him. I mean, if you go back and look, like he wasn't like dynamic for fantasy. He had good numbers, but he wasn't like elite. I think this year we could see an elite, performance from him. So I'm very high on Stroud this year.
Yeah, I mean, year 2, they added another weapon with Diggs, and then they mix. I know we all like taking shots at Dameon Pierce late, but added it Joe Mixon. So yeah, I just love everything they did there to continue to build that offense for year 2 for him. So
looks awesome.
Yeah,
looks amazing.
Yes. And so
I also think that Christian Kirk's going a little late in these drafts as well. Where, I just took him there, and tell me, am I crazy here? He is the one in Jacksonville, right? I mean,
no, you just sniped me. It's all good. It's all good. No worries. I took Kyle Pitts 7 spots ahead of ADP. No big deal.
More
Thanks,
Falcons. I like it. You're adding to the Falcons stack.
I'm okay with that. I'm not going to say the other player that I wanted because I'm going to hope that he falls past ADP. And man, I'm telling you, like these first handful of drafts, Andrew can attest to this. I'm just getting clipped. I'm just left and right, just like firing shots, just taking my stacking options completely unattached to that offense. Like I'm doing a CMC 49ers build, and people took like Jacob Cowing and what's the other guy, Peerless, like way ahead of ADP. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like,
Whoa.
please, like you don't have any other 49ers. Why are you doing this to me?
No, I like the call on Kirk, and Justin, I like the stacking up the Atlanta. One of the favorite things, I talked about it in our summary last year about kind of our summary of our playoff advance rates and why we thought we had a good playoff advance rate, is one of the things we loved is like just stacking a team, not worrying like, okay, I need quarterback and 2 receivers. It's like, no, I want to get like running back, quarterback, receiver, tight end. Like I like hitting all positions, and if or if it's just quarterback, running back, tight end, it just doesn't have to be, kind of think outside the box. And I like being able to, be creative with stacking within a team. And if you get sniped on Kirk, who cares? You still have 3 great Falcons. That's
exactly. That's what we're going to be talking about on this network this summer is, potentially dodging bullets.
Right.
You got to be able to, pivot off of getting sniped or know how to shoot back.
Yeah. And you're back on the clock here, Justin. So what are you thinking? And then Andrew.
Going Marquise Brown here. Probably won't get like many Casey stacks, but love the situation. I think the Rashee Rice news has to kind of fuel the good feelings that we have about Marquise Brown right now. And really just gives you a good kind of idea of what they want to do with this offense. They want it to be fast. They go out and draft, one of the fastest receivers since Tyreek Hill and Xavier Worthy, Marquise Brown.
Sniped.
Oh, going back to back.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah, Andrew,
all right, just take Rashee Rice. Screw the 8-game suspension.
No,
I was like, yeah, do not take Rice right now. That is a PSA for everybody. His ADP is going to fall. Do not do that.
Yeah, he's gonna probably in this draft at least 15 spots. I gotta imagine minimum. That's what I'm thinking.
It's funny. You have the other person I was looking at is Addison. I was going to take him to go with Jefferson. But yeah, I'd rather take Xavier Worthy. I think his upside with the Rice suspension is just a little bit more than Addison currently.
Yeah, and he's one. We talk about getting rookies now before they start skyrocketing up, and for me, I think the rookies that I'm focusing on the most are Worthy, who I haven't really been able to get, Lad McConkey, who I have been able to get, thankfully, a little bit later. Farther down, Corley, who is now going to be roommates with Aaron Rodgers. Did you guys see that news story?
Yeah.
I did. Yeah.
It worked well for Antonio Brown and Tom Brady. So
yeah, exactly. I think
season.
that's what they're going for. That one season, it worked. It totally worked. So Corley and then Roman Wilson to the Steelers. Those are the rookie receivers I'm really been trying to get now. But had Worthy, who Andrew had a good snipe there, is one I have not been able to get a lot of exposure to. Okay, so we're coming around the 6-7 turn here, and I probably need to decide what I'm doing here at pick 76 coming up. Let's see, I've got a 1-1-4 situation going on right now. So,
do you guys ever multi-draft, like draft multiple teams at the same time?
I do, but not successfully very much. I know you currently are right now.
Yeah, yes, I currently am. I mean, the most I've ever done at once is 5. That's a bit wild.
I think the most I've done is
that again.
3.
Why?
Yeah. I don't know, just for fun to see if I could do it. You're really focused, but you can't focus in on one team, so it is hard. I don't recommend that for the casuals, but I would say 3 is probably the most you really want to go if you're serious about your teams. But I did 5 for fun, and I won't do that again.
Okay, so that was kind of like an experiment then.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it was an experiment that did not go exactly how I thought it was going to go.
You're on the clock if you're not seeing that.
Oh, am I really? No, I'm just.
I feel like I know who your pick is right now.
I know. I'm just kidding.
I was going to say, good friend and teammate.
He does do that. He does mess with us like that.
Actually,
I know how to draft with 5 seconds left. Don't worry. I know how.
Well, I took Aaron Jones. I took Aaron Jones because I have Justin Jefferson, so a little team stack there. I was considering taking Rashee Rice there, but I honestly think, I mean, where do you think his ADP falls if he's going to be suspended half the year? I mean, past 100.
I think it's got to be past 100.
Half the season. Half the season, if he's really out that long, he's going to go way past 100. Jameson Williams is at 101. We kind of circling back to our conversation earlier. There's no way he would go at.
Well, speaking of, 90. Rice just went right there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. But he went.
Yeah.
What did I say? 15 spots. I think it's 16. He went 18 spots, and the guy that drafted him, just his second wide receiver, minus EV, minus EV,
Yeah.
negative EV.
Yeah, you don't love that.
I do not.
No, speaking of the Fantasy Dog Pound drafted George Kittle, who I was considering. They were in multi-streaming here. I like it. And then Lad McConkey, another rookie I mentioned, trying to grab shares of. He is already flying up the boards at pick 75, went before me. But I was targeting.
Do you know the Fantasy Dog Pound?
I haven't done a show or anything with them yet. I mean, I follow him on Twitter and everything.
I say, because I hopped over to their stream and I was just kind of watching like his stream a little bit, and I turned the sound on. I put a comment in there about us cross streaming, and he said he mentioned my name, but then said, drafting with Megan. So I assume that he knows at least who you are.
Yeah. I think we follow each other on Twitter. So, but I haven't. Hopefully, we can do a show together this summer.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's fun that we're cross streaming here. Okay, so we're coming around the 7-8 turn. So Jordan Love, Nick Chubb, Brock Bowers, Keon Coleman. He is just Twitter gold. I love him. I love watching clips of him. And he's in the rookies I listed, Keon Coleman was the other one that I'm trying to get because I think he's going to fly up boards, and I think he landed in a great situation. Steve comped him to like an Anquan Bold, maybe not the fastest guy, but just going to be really productive and a good red zone threat. So
yeah, I like that comp.
Sign me up for that.
I think a really undervalued rookie right now is going to be was it Tez Walker out of Baltimore? He's coming off the board about, I don't know, anywhere from like 190 to 200, depending on the draft that you're in. And I feel like there's a clear path there. Like I see. Big body, big presence there. You have Zay Flowers as kind of a compliment. I'm not a Rashad Bateman person per se.
I was last year. It hurt.
Yeah, it's tough. Man, I just don't know what I want to do right here. No. Let's go with Tony Pollard. Get a little more exposure. He was someone that I was higher on early this offseason, not knowing what his situation would be, whether he stayed with Dallas and they were just going to run the offense through him, or he was going to go elsewhere and be featured. I mean, you don't love that Tajay Spears is there right next to him, but I feel like the presence of Tajay Spears helps us in best ball and in fantasy, because we're going to get Tony Pollard at a little bit more value, and he's still most likely going to take the majority of the touches. So I don't hate the situation from a draft perspective.
Yeah, I like both the running backs you guys took, in Pollard and Mostert. We saw, I know I took a Achane, but we saw multiple Miami running backs be very productive. So I like both of those picks a lot. I was thinking about running back, but I might go ahead and grab the fifth receiver here with DeAndre Hopkins.
That's what I was doing. I was like going back and forth. Like, do I want Hopkins? Do I want Pollard? And ultimately, Pollard, I just felt like has a little bit of a higher ceiling, not on skill, but just on touches. Like, the running back is obviously just going to get a lot more touches regardless.
Yeah. Let me bring the board over. I'm trying to already decide between.
You can't. You can't. Otherwise, someone's just going to take them.
That's why I wasn't going to say it out loud, even though I've queued some picks up already.
Jordan Love was sniped on me, but I'm a Bears fan, so it's not like I'm losing sleep over that.
Right.
But at least that person had already Jaden Reed and, again, a minus EV move here, drafting Christian Watson ever. But then even more negative, it was before ADP. That's a no-no. That's a big no-no in my book. Andrew, I did want to ask you, you have the build here going for the Vikings. What are your thoughts on grabbing McCarthy? Are you trying to do that, or are you kind of like Megan trying to avoid the landmine of the rookie QB? Because I have at least one build almost very similarly. I have, JJ, Aaron, the other JJ to JJ. And then I didn't grab another receiver. So just those three. Like, are you confident in McCarthy year one enough to stack him up, or just, hey, I'll take the goodness out of that Vikings lineup?
So confidence in JJ, no. Am I willing to take him because of the stacks and because it's best ball? Yeah. He's not going to be somebody I'll draft at all and redraft, I think. But for best ball purposes, sure. I mean, my team already have 2 Minnesota players. I could get Hawkinson later on as well a little bit. So Yeah, I'm not going to say I'm going to target him, but if the team and the build just kind of warrants that, then yeah, I mean, that's kind of the way I'll probably lean. I could also go Trevor Lawrence, which is coming up as well because I do have Christian Kirk. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm not going to specifically target him per se.
I got you. No, that's what I was thinking you were going to do. So, all right.
So fantasy dog pound, speaking of, we talked about the cross stream, and the decision I was trying to make is, do I reach for Tua at pick 100? I believe his ADP was 115. I'm coming back up at 117. Do I reach for him at pick 100 since I, was building out that Dolphin stack? It got answered for me because Fantasy Dog Pound. So, and I looked and I said, well, who has Jalen Waddle? And I saw that Fantasy Dog Pound had him, and got him at the turn at 2. And I thought, oh, well, great. I can, get him at 100 and I'll get him at 117 because then, he won't be able to take him. Well, he beat me to it. So it's always the chess moves that you have to do. And he went ahead and do it. I kind of like what he did. He had, he got McCaffrey. And we can break down drafts later, but I like that I see him building out the McCaffrey Kittle. He grabbed Purdy and then he sniped me on Tua because he had Waddle. So like that a lot. But then I went ahead and took one of Andrew's favorite players in Jameson Williams. This is a guy that I love here. I'm a little, I tend to try to pace myself on the receivers, making sure I don't fall behind, since wide receiver avalanche, but I've taken so many that now I'm kind of behind on the other positions. So I wouldn't be surprised if this one falls into more of like a 3-6-6-3 or something crazy different for me, like that, because I'm kind of loaded up at receiver now. So with that
assuming
said,
you guys saw the news today about OBJ signing with the Dolphins.
I did see that. Yeah.
That kind of sucks. I liked Malik Washington as a late round guy. I feel like that really takes a hit to him a little bit. So that kind of sucks. But are you guys interested in drafting OBJ at all? Is he just going to be a guy that maybe you take if you have a Miami stack?
I would say only if I had a Miami stack. I don't have a ton of interest. I can't.
It's got to be pretty late too. I mean, I like so many receivers at the end of these drafts. I mean, maybe more than I should. I love me some Michael Thomas. I love me some Darius Slayton.
I just got Slayton the other day. That's always Steve was pounding the table a lot for Darius Slayton, and it'll be interesting to see now that they have like a true X, receiver.
A lot of experience out of Slayton. I just feel like he's always undervalued, underappreciated. Kind of fits that mold to Devin Singletary. Just like he can play ball, he can play a majority of your snaps and block, and do what you need him to do. And he's low cost. He's trying to get an extension right now from the Giants. Yep. You could even see him get moved or cut. So I think he's an immense value. I still see a lot of teams that are wide receiver hungry that have holes to fill. So I think we're still going to see a fair amount of movement at that position specifically this summer.
Right. Before we get up to our next picks, you guys took Andrew took Jaylen Warren, Justin, you took David Njoku, and then you're coming up again. What are your thoughts here as you're building out the 10th round?
I have a pick that I'm potentially moving up the board, but I'm gonna try to at least not do it at this pick, not at pick 10. I will pull this pick up to round 11, or that might be too far away. I don't know. Nope, I have a pick at 126, so we're fine there.
Okay, so I'm on the clock now.
I'm gonna do a callback to the Packers just because again I'm so low on Christian Watson. I'm gonna double down on that take and grab me some Romeo Dubes, who I believe is the true number 2 there behind Jaden Reed. I mean,
I like that. Yeah.
You want to talk about somebody who doesn't touch grass? It's Christian Watson.
Okay, and then Andrew comes with Dalton Schultz for that Houston stack. I like that. And I'm going to go to another guy that Andrew mentioned in Gus Edwards. Just, we know Harbaugh loves to run the ball. And
super reliable value in round 10. Yeah. And it's Greg Roman that we want to be loving. He is going to be the one that turns this into, Baltimore West. They brought over who else did they bring over? Obviously JK, but what receiver was it? It's going to drive me crazy. Oh no, it was tight end Hayden Hurst. They brought over Hayden Hurst as well. So Greg Roman loading up with his guys to go ahead and pound the ball into the ground. Very excited.
Right.
About
bringing over both the Ravens. You're right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to queue up some play or some tight ends and
This
running backs
this is
here.
a very fishy area for wide receiver.
Yeah.
So, and Andrew always likes to play pick your fighter. So I want to maybe get your guys' opinions on
I was
maybe
gonna
some of
say,
these
well, there's the
That's for-
receivers. Who do you
Yeah,
who do you got?
For me, it's
I
easy.
lo-
It's Rashid Shaheed.
Shaheed for me
Yeah.
too.
Yep.
I surprisingly like Jacoby Myers. He's averaged 10 fantasy points per game through the last 10 seasons in half-point PPR. Very another just underrated player. But I like Shaheed too. I like his deep threat opportunity, and with Michael Thomas leaving, there's a clear path to more targets.
What's your guys' take on Chase Brown
Sign me
as
up.
as the number? Do you think he's going to get some work with?
Yeah. They're both going to be complementary. I think
Moss?
it's a very similar situation to Tennessee. I think that both guys are going to get their chance. We saw Zach Moss flash more last year, so I think that he's the pseudo one. But like Tennessee, you just have two guys that can play the same role essentially. So I
You
like
killed
both
me,
of them
Megan.
after ADP.
You killed me.
I killed
Both of
you.
them after ADP.
And that's why I didn't say anything. That's who I was going to take. And you're like, what about Chase Brown? I'm like, I'm going to let Justin talk because I'm talking her off the ledge.
So that's who you were going to take.
Yes, that is who I was going to take there. I'm going
But
to
you take Blake Corum, who you
yeah, I'm
love.
going to take one. Yep.
Okay. Well, okay. So we are getting some sniping of each other, which
I
is
will tell you, it
surprising.
was really hard to pass.
And Bruni
on Jaden
gets
Daniels.
Kirk Cousins, so I like that.
Just
Yeah,
one Infinity Stone left. Or
I
wait, no,
really
there's
wanted to
6.
take
Never mind.
Jaden Daniels there. I won't lie. That was somebody I was looking at too. I just didn't think that I'd be able to come back and stack him with Jahan Dotson because
Right.
I'm up in 12 picks. I'm not sure Dotson's going to be there. So, but yeah, Jaden Daniels was hard to pass up.
I hear you. I was thinking about that. And as you can see, I have Anthony Richardson. I just did a show with Steve on 4 strategies that I'm trying to just keep in mind as I want to make sure that I have the highest advance rate possible. And this is a weird one, but am I going to draft guys that are injury prone or coming back from injury? Definitely. Am I going to draft them all on the same team? No. So I don't feel comfortable drafting an Anthony Richardson and a Jaden Daniels on the same team. Does that make sense?
No, that's absolutely
understandable.
fair.
So
I like to weave and bob off of
fragile
that too. Like if I do one draft, with one of those like later round targets, or just somebody that I really wanted, and I either don't get, then I'll just pivot them to the next draft. Kind of like one draft I'll take like Jacoby Myers, and the next one I'll take Michael Gallup. Just shoot your shots.
Right. Okay, let me bring the board up. And then I need to.
I don't know if you guys are going to get Shaheed if he comes back to me.
Okay, yeah, that's right. He's going to you first. Well, I like that you were able to complete your Atlanta stack there. You got
yep.
quarterback, running
there's
back,
more
receiver,
coming.
tight end. That's
I'm
literally my
obsessive
favorite
when it
stack.
comes to stacks.
Yeah.
Okay, so there goes
Shaheed goes there. Yeah.
I like Palmer a lot too. I'll take Palmer
too.
here if he's available. I think that there's a path for him to be the top receiver there. Obviously, like I don't think there's going to be a rhyme or reason to the passing game, given what we just talked about, how they're going to absolutely run the ball into the ground. But somebody's got to have the most targets on the team, and I like Palmer or McConkey to fit that mold.
Yeah, I like Palmer there too. And to your point, Andrew, Jahan Dotson did go before he came back to you. So
yeah, that's what I thought. So I think I made the good move there. But
yeah,
I mean the guy who took Daniels took Dotson, so that makes sense.
Okay, and then Justin's back on the clock.
Turds. All right, where are we at here? 139. I'm really not interested in downs. I'm thinking about Troy Franklin because I haven't gotten any shares yet. Kind of a pickle here. Kind of a pickle. I don't really love a lot of these guys. Let's go with Jerome Ford and kind of round out some of the Cleveland.
You didn't take Jerome Ford.
You got Mooney. You got your guy.
It was queued up. I missed the clock.
I was gonna say, I was like, I might want to take Jerome Ford as you take him, but now I might.
There you go,
him.
buddy. There you go, bud.
Wide receivers though, because it is interesting. There are some like I like a couple of these guys that I think they're interesting, but I think I'm gonna take Jerome Ford.
I typically don't use my queue as
it was your guy last year.
Yep.
I don't typically use my queue as a method for like next pick. I just do it for my stack targeting. So I had just Atlanta at the top because I had picked Bijan first. So that's all. So I don't hate that. I've actually taken Darnell Mooney quite a bit. So 14, 15 spots ahead of ADP. And it's not great. It's not pretty on paper, but I'm okay with it.
Hey, but you got that beautiful Atlanta stack. I like it.
I do.
I like it. And I have to tell, I took Aaron Rodgers, and while I don't have Garrett Wilson or Breece Hall, Aaron Rodgers, you can backstack. So
Ty Conklin, baby.
Yeah,
Ty
exactly.
Conklin. It's
I mean,
happening.
Lord.
80
It's gonna
plus
happen.
80 plus targets. He did not get. Everybody was nervous about Brock Bowers landing there. That did not happen. In fact, today I don't even think they drafted tight end. If they did, it was late. And so
he had 61 receptions. Listen to this. He's had 87 targets in 3 straight seasons.
3 straight
Exactly.
years.
87 targets.
It's like, it's
And-
not sexy, but it's reliable. Yeah.
Exactly. No, I had a very big argument for him last year. I had Trey McBride as my 3rd most exposed tight end. Ty Conklin was number 1. So I was very much down after Aaron Rodgers got hurt on that first play. I said,
yeah.
Okay. Tough. That's tough, but we'll figure it out. Zach Wilson, he's got to throw to the tight end, right? Like,
yeah,
87 times at least. He tried.
Okay, let's see. I'm back on the clock.
I'm back on the train. I don't know if he'll be my most exposed tight end this year, but I'm a big advocate of Mr. Conklin.
Let me see here. So some of the I need to get a tight end. Speaking of,
I think I'm done. I got my 2. I got Pittman and Njoku. I'm good with that.
I had 0, so I needed to get somebody. I was working with 2, 4, 6, 0 before the pick of Luke Musgrave. So
I was thinking about Luke early. Drafting was it Josh Jacobs, and then trying to get the stack for Green Bay. Moved up on Njoku when I lost Jordan Love.
Gotcha.
This is tough.
Okay, yeah. So we're coming back to So I took Luke Musgrave, got my first tight end in round 13. I am a late round tight end girl. I do try to mix it up and still get some exposure. I did a draft the other day. I think it was our first Fanspeak draft I did with Steve. We took who did we take? We took an early round tight end. Now it's driving me crazy, and so I'm scrolling through to see who it was. Trey McBride. We took Trey McBride. So yeah. I'll mix that in. Don't worry. But I do love my late round tight end. So
Trey and Kyler is not an expensive stack. Very doable there. Very doable. Right. I don't know how much I like MHJ's value right now, though. I feel like there's going to be a dip to buy at some point here.
It does feel like it's pricey. Yeah, it does feel pricey. So while we're kind of around the turn, 13, 14 turn, Andrew took Leggett to Carolina, and Justin took Marshawn Lloyd to Green Bay. You guys want to talk about those picks, Andrew? You go first.
Yeah, sorry, I'm on the clock on my other.
Sorry, Justin, you go first.
No, you're good.
So I took Marshawn Lloyd. LaFleur was talking him up about being multifaceted, being able to catch and run the ball. Sounds like he's ready to fire up Josh Jacobs 2.0. This is an offense that loves to deploy multiple backs, and the drafting of Marshawn Lloyd makes AJ Dillon an immense loser just because he doesn't have a high yard per rush attempt to begin with. He is that kind of boulder, and Marshawn Lloyd can be a very similar type of threat in the red zone, catching passes out of the backfield. Just a lot to like there.
Yeah.
I'm going to take another shot on another rookie and go Jalen Polk. I do have a few New England builds. Not my favorite thing to do, but this is the time of the year like we're talking about. There's even these affordable teams now like doing Seattle builds or Patriots builds. They're going to become more and more expensive as you get more and more confidence in the situation. So I'm definitely willing to buy some Patriot shares now. Probably not so much when they get a little bit more expensive. But I also got them. What is that? 6-9 picks after ADP. I'll let that make up for my Darnell Mooney 14, 15 picks ahead of ADP. So
balances out. Andrew, you took one of my favorite rookies to grab, Roman Wilson, especially this late at 164. Love that. I was thinking about him, but again, I'd already taken 6 receivers. So
I figured you were taking Corley, right?
I have Corley queued up, but I actually took Ty Chandler to round out just to get a 5th solid running back. And then we'll see on Corley.
I got to ask you guys about Luke McCaffrey is coming up the board here. What's the deal? Like, are we getting the second coming, third coming of the McCaffrey tree? Do you guys have any confidence here?
I need to read more. I know he had a great contested catch rate, and I mean, I know there's a lot to like about him, and obviously the receivers he needs to beat out in the kind of for the third receiver in Washington is not hard, not tough to beat out guys like Diami Brown and, Jamison Crowder. The thing that worries me is getting like a third receiver, plus you got the tight ends, plus you have Eckler in an offense that's a rookie quarterback that runs. Last year, you as a Bears fan know this, when you're dealing with a running quarterback that really usually brings down the pass volume. And so it just really makes me nervous to invest in like tertiary pieces of a pass offense so I'm up and Corley came back. So Conklin did get sniped, but I will get Aaron Rodgers' roommate in Malachi Corley.
Like it.
So, okay. So we are, and now you guys, that means you guys are back up on the clock.
I was gonna take Will Levis there. I was gonna take some Will Levis.
I was thinking Levis. In hindsight, I probably should have taken, because I did have 4 running backs. I should have probably taken a Levis Corley combination at 14 and 15. I did Ty Chandler Corley, so I'm glad I got one of them. Levis did go at the second pick in the 15th round. So
what do I want to do here?
All right, got JJ McCarthy because you said you have a few Minnesota. Yeah, you got multiple Minnesota, and you have Jefferson, right? Yeah. Yep. So got the JJ McCarthy.
I kind of got pigeonholed into that. I mean, if I look at the QBs, like Derek Carr, I could have drafted and maybe stacked with Juwan Johnson. I already have Olave, but McCarthy just made sense. It's not somebody I'm going to draft a ton of, but for the build, I felt like it was fine.
Now, let me ask you this. In a build with McCarthy and not knowing when he'll start, will you do 3 quarterbacks in this build?
Oh man. Yeah. You know what? Like it's in consideration. Like I said, Derek Carr's still out there and he's serviceable. So it's in consideration. But not a confirmed doing for sure. Cause I only have 1 tight end. So I need to make sure I address that before we're done here. And I could probably stop with running backs and wide receivers if I really wanted to. Not sure I want to do that yet, though. There are some guys on the board that I do still like. So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting how this plays out.
Yeah,
Derek Carr was my first quarterback on my second highest scoring team last year. You can do it.
Oh, okay.
You can do it.
You can.
There is a path.
Okay, so we're coming around in the 16th round here. And yeah, I'd like to ideally get one more quarterback soon, and definitely need to work on the tight end position, because as I mentioned, I had queued up Conklin, who we talked about. Since I had gotten Rodgers, I did get Corley, but I did not get Conklin, and I only have Luke Musgrave. So definitely need to address the tight end position.
So late tight end combo with quarterback, Gardner Minshew, Michael Mayer available. If you believe that Mayer might still be relevant. I do, just given his draft capital from last year.
I do as well. Their offensive coordinator, and his name is slipping my mind right now, ranked 7th last year in using 2 tight end sets. Now that he has 2 good tight ends, I mean, I'm assuming he's going to be top 5 at the end of the year. So definitely somebody I've drafted a couple times already in BBM.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I mean, I like the value you can get. Raiders stacks are just very,
super
undervalued.
affordable.
Yeah, very
affordable.
Very affordable.
I don't know why Gardner Minshew is going in the last round. Like I like the idea that, we believe in Aiden O'Connell, but I mean, you just look at Minshew's experience. Like just what he did last year on an underwhelming offense, at least to start after you lose Jonathan Taylor. So I thought that he was great. You have a contract there. He just kind of fits the mold of a bridge QB. That is one value that's going to at least shoot up 4 to 5 rounds over across the next month. So getting him in round 18 right now is crazy. And yeah, Mayer and Minshew, they were a late round stack. I think you can do, Bryce Young and hit whatever tight end you want to pick there. Maybe Tommy Tremble. I don't know.
I like Jatavion Sanders. That's that. People were flag planning Senate as the next Sam Laporta. I'm going to go ahead and say my current Sam Laporta is Jatavion Sanders. I mean, who's his? You just said it. Who's his competition? Right. Whereas you can say what you want about Zach Ertz, but he did keep. Why am I blanking on his name? Thank you. 2 times in a row. He did keep McBride off the field and had a couple spike weeks. He kept him at bay. Yeah, until he got injured. And So, listen, I think maybe Sinnott can play a role maybe later, but, I think in 2 tight end sets to start the year, it's going to be Sinnott more as the blocker and, Ertz more as the weapon. And so
Right.
I think the reason I loved Sam Laporta so much is he had zero competition. He had Brock James Mitchell ahead of him. Same situation for Tavion Sanders. I know he's a little undersized, and I know he isn't a good blocker, but I mean, so you have to find a way to use him.
The issue I have with any of those tight ends, though, is just the depth that Carolina now has at receiver is stupid. Like, what?
Yeah.
Where did I mean, it's not
really
like amazing.
Bounce back.
I love Deontay Johnson. I liked Adam Thielen a lot more than the average cat last year. Andrew can attest to that. Me and him, a lot of back and forth there. A lot of Adam Thielen tension. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you saw what happened. He fell off the cliff. He was fine. And then I know I said it on our shows a couple times. Like I was like, it's going to happen. Get rid of him now while you can. And then eventually happened. So it's going to happen again, man. Don't take
37% advance rate for me last year. 37, 9 of 24. And on my highest scoring team.
Yeah, well, that's fine. But
okay, so last year. I made a gross error that I'll tell about after I make this pick. And it's, the multitasking got to me. Yeah.
I'm ready to get hurt one more time.
I'm ready to get hurt again. So I'm going to,
another option that I was going to bring up for like the QB tight end late round action is Bo Nix and Greg Dulcich. There's just no movement on that offense whatsoever. Like they're not doing anything. I think there is some value in getting Sutton and Marvin Mims Jr. after ADP. But I mean, if you're just treasure hunting, I mean, those guys in the last 2 rounds, I mean, it's a stack. They're most likely going to start the majority of the games, given health. Good shot in the dark.
Yeah, no, I like that. And I like talking about these, like you said, these late round stacks, these value stacks. That makes a lot of sense. So the mistake I made, well, actually, I'll say after you guys pick. So I did take Bryce Young here at pick 196 in the 17th round. Andrew took Derek Carr, and you grabbed
3 QBs. Yikes! Andrew's down. Hey,
you're
fine.
You're speaking my language. You're speaking my language, Andrew. I like it. You do a draft with Meg and a 3 QB. You end up a 3 QB draft. I like it.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think it makes a lot of sense in this one with the McCarthy pick. I really do.
Yeah, absolutely. No, if you're drafting JJ McCarthy in the month of May, I mean, I think 3 quarterbacks is a pretty adequate approach. Like, what can we know for sure? I mean, I would assume, given the draft capital, he's the guy. But for all we know, Sam Darnold's going to go in there and start throwing darts to JJ and pop off some good practice video, and it's going to flip the tide. So we'll see.
Yeah. True.
I mean, I think with guys like McCarthy and May, I think, I certainly think we'll see them this year. I just don't know at what point we'll see them. And
they should be there for week 17.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll get to see the schedule here. I think I heard it's next Thursday, or someone said like coming in a week.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is Thursday.
Okay, so that's exciting stuff. So next Thursday, but
I called the 11th, so that would be the 9th. So
okay, there you go.
If it's the weekend, if it's the weekday theme that we had talked about,
right? So someone said next Thursday. So we'll find out next Thursday. When the bye weeks are, right? And a lot of times these rookie quarterbacks make an appearance sooner, right after the bye. So we'll see. But I could see both of them coming in after the bye or coming in, after, I don't know, a 6-week mark or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised. So I like the 3 quarterback build. The mistake I made was I didn't realize that I took a 7th. I talked about like, well, I loaded up at receiver, so I'll be fine with a 3-6-6-3. And, I'm so weak at tight end. And with Anthony Richardson, I mean, I have a big 3 quarterback, love affair, obviously, and lean into that. But especially when I've got a running quarterback, I want 3. And so I wanted to grab a 3rd quarterback.
Whoa.
And so therefore I'm only going to have 2 tight ends, and they're 2 late round tight ends. So that's a big no-no. So the
guy ahead of me just went one tight end build.
Oh, well, it's almost as bad as my 2 late round tight ends.
Minus EV, Jay Gamer.
Well, M. Schaub is minus EV with Luke Musgrave and her pick to be named in a minute.
Well, you got 2.
So Andrew got Mayer, and I'm going to take who I talked about. I'm going to take the rookie, Tavion Sanders, because I did grab Bryce Young. You talked about Minshew Mayer. We talked about Bryce Young and how I like Jatavion Sanders because nobody is ahead of him. And so that's who I went. But I'm very disappointed in Fantasy Dog Pound will round off this draft, and then we can look at the teams and kind of analyze everything from there. But yeah, very disappointed in myself that I didn't realize that I'd had 7 receivers, didn't realize it wasn't shaping up to be a 3-6-6-3, and therefore it's a 3-6-7-2. That's a no-no. Very negative EV, as you would say, when you very negative EV when you started drafting your tight ends in round 14 or so. So
It's not
let
true.
me
done.
Yeah. What'd you say?
It can be done. You just have to find the next Trey McBride. I'm surprised you guys didn't pitch any Ben Sinnott there. It just all fits.
I mean,
the mold.
Megan hit on it. They brought him in because he's a blocking machine.
Mm-hmm. I'm a little worried he's more Kyle Juszczyk than
I'm scared that they're going to use him a lot to block, and Ertz is going to be the guy this year to catch the touchdowns and have a lot, more of the passing work. But I think for dynasty purposes, he's a good pick. I think moving forward, he's going to be awesome. It's just once Zach Ertz gets out there, then it'll be fine. But this year, he's going to block.
Yeah, that's how I see it. Steve talked about it. We did. I'll just pitch the show. Check it out on the channel. Rookie landing spots. We did quarterback, tight end this week. Next week will be a running back show, receiver show. It's a 3-part show. And tight ends. Steve's very kind of bullish on that take. That listen, I think we're a little early on the Ben Sinnott. I think the potential's there. It makes sense of the pick. He's an immense blocker, absolutely can be a multifaceted weapon, but I think he went round 160 in this draft. Like the steam for him is real right now. And I think it might come back down to earth if you are interested in getting some Sinnott shares. Number one. Number two, again, it's that whole rookie quarterback, running quarterback. And how many mouths are you going to feed? Like Justin Fields fed DJ Moore. And he fed Kmet. But that was literally it, right? I mean, it's just really hard for a running back to really spread it out unless they're like a running quarterback like Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts, who are also successful high volume passers. I just don't think we're going to see a high volume passing offense in Washington. So now I feel like Shark Tank, and for that reason, I'm out. So let's go through. I'll let you guys go through your teams first. Do you want me to pull up the team individually, or do you want me to leave up the board?
I think you can pull the board open more, can't you?
If you do that box, the box next to the X, you can
the board higher. Nope.
I mean, we can just go through our squads and maybe also check out.
There's somewhere that you can make it move, but I don't know how to do it. You can like the black box. You could make it go north and south.
Okay, I'm gonna have to learn that again. We will get there. We will get there. So yeah, Andrew, go through your team first, and again, I can also pull it up over here too to look at your team. But Andrew did my favorite build 3-5-7-3. Break it down for us, Andrew.
Oh man, yeah, you're not going to see Andrew draft a whole lot of 3 QB. So we'll roll with it here. But so CJ Stroud, JJ McCarthy, Derek Carr, got stacks for all of them. Obviously Stroud, I have Diggs and Dalton Schultz. For JJ McCarthy, I have Aaron Jones and Justin Jefferson, and then Derek Carr, I have Chris Olave and Juwan Johnson. Running backs, Aaron Jones, Raheem Mostert, Jalen Warren, Blake Corum, and Jerome Ford. Typically, this is why I don't do 3 QBs, is I'd like to have one more running back there, but obviously this team kind of needed a third QB possibly. But wide receivers, Justin Jefferson, Chris Olave, Steph Diggs, Christian Kirk, Xavier Worthy, Xavier Legette, Roman Wilson, and then tight ends, Dalton Schultz, Juwan Johnson, and Michael Mayer. I'll take Michael Mayer almost all day after pick 200. I mean, again, I really think they're going to use 2 tight ends a whole lot. And we got spoiled last year with Sam Laporta, but if you look back through history of fantasy, rookie tight ends tend to not do very well. So, I mean, again, I think Michael Mayer is going to be completely fine.
Agreed. Yeah, and look at the guy. He looks like a video game player. Like he looks like he's out of NFL Blitz. He's massive. He can block.
And Brock Bowers looks like he sells cars on the side after coming to your house trying to sell you windows. Like he looks odd. Yeah.
Oh my, I agree. I think they're going to run a lot of 12 personnel. So I still think the value you're getting with Mayer is there. And let's be honest, again, if Bowers goes down at all, then Mayer's going to be the guy, So No, I like this draft a lot, Andrew. I am a big fan of 3753, but I also do just love, all your stacks and, team correlation and everything. Justin, any thoughts on Andrew's draft before we go to yours?
Yeah, it's all right. I've seen him draft some teams. I've seen him draft a few squads. So I'm gonna say for Andrew's standard, this is like a 7.
Okay.
I will admit the team that made it to the finals for me last year was a 3 QB build, and I absolutely hated it when I drafted. I even tweeted about it. I tweeted about it. It was a cardio club draft that we didn't live stream, and I hated the team. I tweeted about it. I was like, sometimes you just don't like the teams. Like, it is what it is. Fast forward, that team made it to the finals.
That's your finals team.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I just have to ask, what, other than the 3 quarterbacks, what didn't you like about it? Was it the players or more the build structure?
It was just like, I didn't have like the stacks I really wanted. I had Laporta on the team, but I didn't get a lot of the stacks. I got a couple of of my guys, but I got sniped a lot. It wasn't an overall good draft. I just didn't have a good feeling about it. I think it was like Goff, Kenny Pickett, and Dan Jones. Like, it was not a very good one. But overall, the team throughout the year put it together, and it was just interesting how you hate a team, and then it was in the finals.
It's so funny, the drafts that I labeled like love it. I labeled some like love it or 5-star or stuff like that. And those would be the drafts that either there was injury, a lot of those because I loved Nick Chubb and Mike Williams and I had them together. So obviously those love it's were in big trouble. So, but there were a couple love it's that I was like, oh, I think this is going to do really well in playoffs. And it just didn't do well in playoffs. So you just never know. So, okay, let's take a look at Justin's team now. Justin, you want to break this down?
Yeah, so this one will be labeled as an Atlanta build, which is nice because it's draft number 7 for me, and I've been trying to do this for at least six previous drafts. Getting Bijan and Drake London, Cousins, and Kyle Pitts. So taking it from the top, Kirk Cousins, Geno Smith, have him backed up a little bit. Running backs, I have Bijan Robinson, Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard. The values here are all pretty solid. They're all like at ADP, which I prefer to be at with running backs. I do not like having to pay more for them than need be. So their ADP and pick selection, I'm very happy with. I would say the QBs are pretty moderate. They're all within like a handful of picks. So I kind of just consider those at ADP. Wide receiver, there was definitely a few runs here where the position got very aggressive. So I have Drake London, Cooper Kupp, Marquise Brown, JSN, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. Backed up with, like I said, Geno Smith, and then Romeo Doubs, kind of pairing him there with a friendship stack with Marshawn Lloyd and Josh Jacobs, and then Romeo Doubs, Darnell Mooney, Jalen Polk, Devontae Walker, mentioned him at the top of the show. And then Kyle Pitts, David Njoku, who's just kind of on an island on his own there. Want to get a good tight end. You never know what's going to happen with Kyle Pitts. And Noah Fant, kind of backed up to Seattle.
I like it. More Seattle. And I love the team correlation. Got some nice value on rookies. And, I know you guys have mentioned Dameon Pierce as like a late round running back that you like. And I like that a lot too. So no, all around, I like this a lot. Andrew, any thoughts on your buddy's team here before we go over to mine?
I mean, I hate it. No, I'm just kidding. No, I liked, obviously you stacked well. I mean, we all know how important stacking is, especially in best ball. So love that. I love the Pitts and Njoku tandem at tight end. That feels very nice. I will say one thing, and I've done this, and I looked back at the team, and I'm like, I can't do that again. I hate it. Getting 5 running backs, but having 2 from the same team, it doesn't feel good because you know that both those guys aren't going to go ham on any given week. So you're only going to get 1 at best working for you. And then if 1 goes down, you're down to 4 running backs. So I did the exact same thing, but with Denver. I took Javonte Williams and Austin
Estime, yeah.
Yeah. And I looked back at it after I took it. I'm like, I shouldn't have did that. Like, I pigeonholed myself into not allowing me to get maximum points because those guys are not it's not like we have Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara from late or, I mean, name any, Algier and Bijan, right? Like those guys aren't it. So that would be the only thing I would say on the team because I've done it already and I regretted doing it.
I think you're like 95% right. I think like not 5% of teams, I think you still can do that with. And I think the Packers are an example. So like Gibbs and Montgomery, I have no issue there. I none
Sure, but they're a
whatsoever.
different caliber, right?
Sure,
Like, I don't think
but
that. Yeah.
okay, so what about like Derrick Henry and Keaton Mitchell? That's an offense.
That one, that's the one I like. That's my favorite, actually. It's Thunder and Lightning.
See, that's for me. I can't either. Yeah, is Derrick Henry one, is Mitchell going to be right? And let's say for this instance, he is right. After getting hurt, they brought Derrick Henry in to run the absolute piss out of the ball with him because
I hope so.
He's at the end of lifespan right now. Like Derrick, I mean, he's on life support, right? But he's going to be the guy that they give as much work as they physically can to because he's on the team that he's only ever been on where he could win a Super Bowl, right? So I think he has all the goal line work forever. And Keaton Mitchell, if he's right, he'll get between the 20s, but his touchdown upside is in the floor right now.
No, you're 100% right. But then you also just look at like, okay, that's a prolific offense. It's like no dissimilar to the 49ers that put up a lot of points, the Dolphins that put up a lot of points. And that's where I like to get in. So like I do agree with you. There's so many teams where I would not recommend doing that. But there's a small handful where I do. I would say the Chargers are another one right now, given how early it is. The more and more healthy that J.K. Dobbins is this offseason, he's going to gain steam. Like he's going to get up potentially within a round or two of Gus Edwards, and people are going to start to view it as more of a split than like, oh, this guy's going to be the dominator, right? So no, I agree with you. Like I said, the majority of the league, like I wouldn't want to do it with the Bears. I wouldn't want to do it with the Colts. Like, who do you trust behind Jonathan Taylor? Like, you're going to draft him and Trey Sermon? No, absolutely not. But so I agree with you, but I do like, there's just those little spots, those little pockets.
Yeah. Steve and I just had this debate about handcuff, yes or no, and on what teams and on what builds, because would you feel more comfortable, Andrew, on a 6 running back build? That might make you feel more comfortable.
It would, yeah. If I have an extra bullet in the chamber on the running backs, then yeah, I'm more for it. It's with 5 running backs. You're really only having 4 at that point because I don't believe that those 2 running backs are going to give you constant production on a week in and week out basis for you to warrant 2 roster spots. But with 6, I probably would have never said anything about it because then he would have had an extra guy.
I'm going to have to get a 4 running back build with 2 on the same team now.
Lord Jesus, Justin, do not do that. You want to make finals, right? That ain't the way to do it. Don't do that.
We'll do a Detroit build with that approach.
Okay. Oh, you know what? You could convince me in that because we've seen it and they didn't do anything that makes me change my mind on how they're going to run the ball. So that's probably the only team in the NFL that I would be okay with you doing 4 or 5 running backs and having 2 on the same team because we have seen, the Lions, because we've seen them do where both quarterback or both running backs had a very good productive day in the exact same day. So that's fine with me.
They get so many touches in the green zone they get the high value touches. They get very run heavy in the red zone, green zone.
And we've seen this before too, like when a la Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram. Like it's not impossible. It's just rare. It's just not common.
Like you said. I think it's the right teams that you want to pick, the run heavy teams, the teams like in Baltimore. Lamar doesn't really vulture the touchdowns. And so I do think it's mostly going to be Henry, but then if Henry gets banged up, then it could be Keaton Mitchell and then Chargers. I just think it's the certain teams that you want to hit. So, okay, break down I'll break it down again. I've already gone over my error that I wanted this to be a 3-6-6-3 and it turned into a 3-6-7-2. And I am left with a late round tight end build with just 2 tight ends. So very bad, not happy with that, but I'll still break it down for you. I got Anthony Richardson, Aaron Rodgers, Bryce Young. I was going for the Miami stack because I got Devin Achane and of course Tyreek Hill later, David Montgomery, Gus Edwards, Chase Brown, Ty Chandler, Keaton Mitchell, who we talked about, Tyreek Hill, Michael Pittman, Tank Dell, Jordan Addison, DeAndre Hopkins, Jameson Williams. And I took Malachi Corley because I wanted that. I was going for Conklin or Corley, queued them both, and Conklin got taken, grabbed Corley to correlate with Rodgers. That's what led me to my 7th receiver. And then whoopsie daisy, only have 2 tight ends with Luke Musgrave and Jatavion Sanders as a late round tight end build and only 2. So that is, I think, negative EV. I don't like that. Other than that, I'm okay with it. It's correlated. Not sure how else to think. So give me some feedback, guys.
So, Bernie, if you don't mind, I'll go first here. I like what you did, and I know you're a 3 QB girl, so like I'll be nice on the 3 QBs. But I mean, the 3 QBs are fine. Obviously, I'm not big on Bryce Young, but how bad can he really be? And you got him at 196. I mean,
You're
really,
right
I
at
mean,
his
he's
value.
probably going to be better than 196, overall. So I like those. I like Aaron Rodgers a lot. I mean, his ADP is very friendly. So your
Yes.
QBs are fine. Like you said, you did stack them as well. I do like that. I like your wide receivers a lot. I know people are down on DeAndre
really heavy.
Hopkins. You got him 12. You got him a whole round later than he's
That's why I
normally
took
going.
him. Yeah,
Yeah,
hold on.
I like DeAndre Hopkins. I'd rather take him a little later than Calvin Ridley ahead of him, personally. Your running backs are fun as well. I mean, you have some touchdown upside with a couple of these guys, and then you got some home run hitters and Keaton Mitchell if he's right, Achane if he's right. Chase Brown's probably going to be the de facto, number one there. So you have at least 4 number one running backs as well, and then your tight ends. So obviously, that's kind of gross.
Real gross.
But here's the thing that you can hang your hat on, and Adam Levitan has talked about this a lot on ETR's podcast, is that the tight ends are your lowest positional scoring group. So, I mean, he's the fan of, I'll wait till the end of the draft and take 2 or 3 of them, or 3 or 4 of them at the end, because they score the least amount of points on your team. So for you to, have this happen, I don't think it's going to kill you, because again, I think this year is a good year to get elite tight ends. If you don't, I think you need to grab 3 of them at the end. But again, they're your lowest scoring positional players, so I don't think it's going to absolutely kill you.
Okay. Well, thank you, Andrew. You made me feel a little better. Justin, give me some feedback.
I mean, very, very similar take here. Like the receivers, like the running backs, and for good reason. You're, getting top talent at the position, getting steals. D Hop was a good one. Ty Chandler, I probably would have held off of him or Keaton Mitchell, but you got great value on Ty Chandler. So really hard to argue that, other than, hey, you probably needed to spend one of those picks, the Keaton Mitchell pick or maybe the Corley pick on a tight end. But other than that, I like it a lot. I mean, a lot of these players I drafted last year: Hill, Pittman, Hopkins, Williams. Love Gus Edwards last year. Love him again this
Gus
year.
Edwards was my guy last year. Yeah.
Big David Montgomery guy. I was banging that drum last year. I haven't
he's
gotten
the one
any
that gets
shares of him this year, unfortunately.
Inside the 5 touches, I still think he will, even though Gibbs is Gibbs,
I think Anthony Richardson is a wild card to be a top 5 QB. It's just, does he stay healthy, and does he get that similar type of per game fantasy point production? If he's hitting yes on those boxes, then you're going to be in a very good situation, regardless of tight end.
Right. Absolutely. Well, this was fun, guys. I mean, it's our very first draft together, and I certainly had a blast, and hopefully you guys watching had a blast. And again, if you're watching it on replay, we had a couple bugs in there, but thank you for being patient with us. And we're going to be smoothing out all the kinks, because we're going to be doing 4 live drafts every single week. So be sure to check them all out. And that means you should like and subscribe, so you know when we go live with these drafts. And again, we'll be having plenty of other great content, strategy shows, shorts, and other nuggets to keep in mind. Steve's rankings will be out hopefully next week, and then we'll be adding more and more best ball content and articles to the website on fanspeak.com. So be sure to check out that too. Let me get final thoughts from these guys, and then we'll head on out of here. Andrew, final thoughts for your first show, and maybe a tease for what's coming for some of your and Justin's content.
Yeah. Great first show. I know Justin and I are going to have some segments that I've been, toying around with, that I'll be talking to Bruni. I think it's a good thing for, us coming to a new network with new shows, have some new segments come up. So definitely look forward to that. But if you have seen Bruni and I before on YouTube, you know that we like to sweat and draft. Cardio Club is coming up. I'm sure you'll find us pedaling away while drafting. So feel free to, check us out, get on YouTube, ride with us, draft with us. It'll be a good time.
I love it. I got to get in some cardio clubs with you guys as well. All right, Justin, final thoughts before we get out of here.
I'm sorry I didn't paint my nails today. Next time.
Caleb Williams. Shout out.
Yeah.
I like it.
I mean, it's gonna happen. Like, at some point I'm gonna do something for sure. But I've been loving the Caleb Williams hype. He texted the rookie punter, like, hey man, so
that was amazing.
Sidelines this year. Like, alpha move.
That was amazing. I love it. He was like, what was it? Great that we drafted you, but you're not going to be punting very much.
You're not going to be doing a whole lot of punting this year. It's like, wow, this guy.
So how close is it going to be? Should we do a bet on, does the punter have more punt yards than Caleb has pass yards this year?
Yeah, I'll take that.
Just saying. I don't know. I mean, with that confidence.
Are you familiar with the punter market for props? Like, I don't. I know
I haven't been
more
in the
sickos
punter
and
prop
degens,
market.
but I mean, I feel like you're kind of out of water there, buddy. Like, I'm just saying, like, I don't think you know what
I would
punters are
have
out picking their
I couldn't even
quarterbacks.
begin to guess the range. I wouldn't even be beginning to guess the range. So, Justin, any teases? He gave the Cardio Club tease. Any tease for what content is coming from you soon here on the Fanspeak Network?
We're gonna be talking about evading snipers. We're gonna be talking about how to keep a healthy mindset in the streets when people are stealing your stacks. We're gonna be calling dodging bullets. Look out for it.
Okay, I like it. Well, this was fun. Again, like and subscribe on the way out. Stay tuned to everything on fanspeak.com and Fanspeak Network. This is going to be an exciting summer, and we can't wait. So thank you so much for joining us. For Justin, for Andrew, I'm Meg, and we will see you next time.